Picture this, Berlin 1961. You're just out for a casual stroll, maybe on your way to a friend's place for a delicious pretzel. Life is good. Then, bam! 2 blocks down, you're stopped dead in your tracks by a wall. And no, this is not some glitching Fortnite game, this is an actual real-life brick wall. You squint, get confused, and notice Soviet workers and soldiers frantically stacking brick after brick to this growing monstrosity. Congratulations, you're now a front-row witness to what might just be the world's most depressing dominoes project of the 20th century. This building project would go down in history as the Iron Curtain. Overnight, the GDR decides, hey, let's split the city in half. On the west side, the British, French and American zones. On the east, the DDR, the Deutsche Demokratische Republik, turning half of Berlin into a fortress complete with watchtowers, barbed wire, and all that scary stuff. To understand how we ended up with this giant concrete mess, we have to rewind a bit. During the Yalta Conference in February 1945, and later at Potsdam, Roosevelt, Churchill and Stalin decided to slice up Berlin into sectors. Imagine Germany as a trashed restaurant after a chaotic dinner. Berlin, that's Gordon Ramsay's kitchen, run by 4 angry managers all yelling over each other, claiming they own the place. Chaos guaranteed. Speaking of chaos, are you ready to take command? World of Warships is a free-to-play, massive online multiplayer tactical naval combat game where strategy and teamwork decide who rules the sea. You take control of historically inspired warships and battle it out in intense 12v12 matches against players from around the world. With over 850 ships across multiple nations, you can choose your playstyle. Stealthy destroyers, versatile cruisers, heavy-hitting battleships, tactical aircraft carriers, and even submarines. Every class plays differently, and mastering positioning, timing, and coordination is the key to victory. Whether you're completely new or a returning commander who hasn't sailed in a while, now is a great time to jump in. The game receives ongoing monthly updates with new ships, nations, events, and cosmetics, plus upgraded visuals including enhanced maps, realistic water effects, improved lighting, and dynamic weather. You can play solo or team up with friends in divisions for coordinated strategies and big plays. If you're new, use our link in the description and the invite code IMPACTFORCE to unlock exclusive rewards. 20 days of premium account, the Japanese Tier 3 cruiser Tenryu, a commander, and a port slot. As you progress, you can earn even more, including the US Tier 7 cruiser Boise, 7 super containers, 40 million credits, and 1 million Elite Commander XP. Check out the link below, claim your rewards, and I'll see you on the sea. After the war, Germans tried to pick up the pieces, and apparently they were much better at rebuilding than, well, winning a war. Enter the Wirtschaftswunder, the legendary economic miracle. West Germany went from rubble to riches, with thriving industries producing sleek cars, precise machinery, and high-tech chemicals. Zyklon Bay excluded. Meanwhile, life in East Berlin could not be more different. Life was tough, money was tight, and more than a few people decided to risk everything by leaving the Soviet part of the city in search of a better life. And yes, back then migrants were white and more than welcome to visit the West. Must be a coincidence. This massive outflow of people freaked the Soviet-backed DDR out so much that they decided to build a wall, wrapping completely around West Berlin just to keep everyone from escaping. In the early morning hours, Soviet soldiers and workers rolled in and started laying down the first concrete blocks of what would soon become the infamous Berlin Wall. At first, the barrier dividing East and West Berlin was basically a bit of barbed wire and panic. People could still hop over it in places where construction lacked. But within months, every inch was locked down. They even bricked up apartment windows facing the west, which actually isn't the worst thing if your neighbors happen to be loud, annoying communists you don't like. If your neighbors were family though, yeah, you were completely screwed. While life in the West didn't change much, aside from suddenly living inside a concrete donut, the East morphed into a full-blown surveillance state. This ultimate dystopia of depression was run by the Stasi, short for Ministerium für Staatssicherheit. Or maybe a better fit would be Staatssicher Shite. Now these guys acted like hyperactive prison guards, and East Berlin became the prison. Think Sin City, except every sin is watched, recorded, filed, and punished with enthusiasm. Phone calls were wiretapped, mailboxes were turned upside down, and informants roamed the streets like they were filming a communist reboot of Catfish. And just when you think they'd gone over the top, they weren't done. Stasi folks kept busy collecting people's scent samples so dogs could track them down. By now, calling East Berlin a prison is an insult to actual prisons. At least in prison, no overzealous dog is sniffing up and down your crack while you're trying to take a shit. Anyway, in the end, Stasi operatives weren't focused on locking people up. They were focused on making life itself a living hell. Bizarre operations were designed to distort everyday routines and quietly destroy lives without ever leaving a trace. So yes, the list of potential actions the Stasi operatives could undertake to make your life miserable was long. As Hans, the oppressed East Berliner here, can testify. Bear with us as we follow Hans for a day behind the Iron Curtain.
The alarm rings in the morning, Hans is up in his bed, off to work, punching in this life is making him mad. So during lunch he cracks a joke about the socialist state, but the Stasi informant looks less amused than his mate. Before you know was his up, the boss is screaming at you. You were caught wanking off, at least that story came true. Indecent act, one gets sacked, it sounds fitting for sure, but this genius crafted lie made him walk out the door. You're in the DDR and now you're depressed. Every soul beyond the wall is more than blessed, but in this Plattenbau jungle without a single tree, the only growing thing is a wish to be free. Now Hans is driving home in his Trabi car through the grey haze streets of the DDR. Van Morten, few more steps and he is back at home in the sad apartment building, and he's not alone. While he walks inside and takes a look around, all the chairs was moved and was das clicking sound. On the phone, not alone, is this a group chat now? Well, I better go, greets für deine Frau. You're in the DDR and now you're depressed. Every soul beyond the wall is more than blessed, but in this Plattenbau jungle without a single tree, the only growing thing is a wish to be free. Fallen down on them knees, kein Bier, no Meier. Empty stomach hums like them Red Army choir. Despite 7 color shite, Hans is seeing the light, cause his noisy diesel fridge might hold a special prize. When he opens it up, he hopes for sausage and bread, but all that he sees is chili coupons instead. While the food stamps salute, Hans can only say yes to a royal meal of kein Fress, nur viel Stress. You're in the DDR and now you're depressed. Every soul beyond the wall is more than blessed, but in this Plattenbau jungle without a single tree, the only growing thing is a wish to be free.
Now, to really get into the nitty-gritty details of the Berlin Wall and how depressed it made our boy Hans, we'll continue this video in part 2, which will be released soon. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, well, bloody get on with it and subscribe, or become a member on Patreon or YouTube. See you guys around. And if you prefer console, the game is also available as World of Warships Legends.